on the right-hand side, we see some more stained glass designs. These actually go over different symbols in our faith and also the symbols for the evangelists. So you see the feast there, right, the fish? And then we see the hand that is blessing us. That's what the priests do. And then on the left-hand side of the windows, we see the 7 sacraments. So, Helen, can you give me an example of what sacraments you see there?
I see baptism.
Okay.
And she's asking me. I don't expect you.
Well, for me,
I see the chalice.
Yeah, I normally go over the chalice would be what the Holy Eucharist, the communion.
Right, communion.
The 2 rings would be marriage.
Right.
Let's say the first one is baptism, and then the one with like the bishop's hat. For me, that would be like holy orders when somebody becomes a priest. So you don't have to necessarily go over all the symbols, even if it's just a couple. People were like, oh, okay, so here's
I would say such as marriage and communion.
Yes, it's things that they can recognize, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The 2 rings, marriage.
Now, what was this one again? This one I forgot.
So the 4 here, closer, so the angel, what appears to be, I don't know, a lion, and then like some kind of animal. So the 4 here are for the 4 evangelists, and now the other 3, with the hand, the fish, and the dove, are just different symbols in our faith.
Okay, that represents.
And each one goes for the evangelists. And another point you will see the 4 evangelists are the 4 corners of the dome, right? So there's Matthew, Mark, and we have Luke and John. And they're at the corner of the dome because they wrote the 4 Gospels. They're very important individuals in the faith. And they're also depicted on the blue part of the dome between the cherubim, the little angels, and the full-fledged ones, the seraphim. But on that circle, you also see John the Baptist and Apostle Paul, because they may not be evangelists, but again, they were very important. So each thing you see has a purpose. Or here, let's go this way. We have the 2-headed eagle, right? So actually, we went up over in church today. I think we didn't go over, but we honored the person that depicts. So the 2-headed eagle is Christ, right? And he's holding a cross on one claw and an orb in the other. So this symbol came about during Constantine's reign in Byzantium because he made Christianity the universal religion of the kingdom. So cross is for religion and orb is for state. So you combine church and state. They're sprinkled throughout the church in different areas. A lot of history, so it's very neat once you understand where they come from, but there is a purpose for them. They're not just there because they look pretty.
Right.
Yeah. We can go over, let's see, the Last Supper, that people should be familiar with. When Christ met with his 12 apostles, and actually Judas is depicted there. I believe he's on the left-hand side. And then, let's go over some of the mosaics. So the really big mosaic on the right here, we have Christ on the donkey. As many of you are familiar with, it depicts Palm Sunday when he came into Jerusalem. And we can see who is who because the apostles on the right-hand side all have halos. So we know that even if we don't know who they are, we know that they're important because, again, they have the halo around their head as opposed to the regular villagers on the left-hand side. And then if we go across the church over here, we have Christ on a mountain, and he is this is Sermon on the Mount. This is where he gave us the Beatitudes and the Lord's Prayer. Yes. And then the mosaic, on this hand side, we have the crucifixion, and again, we see the Virgin Mary on the left. And what's interesting to note, you also see the Virgin Mary always says stars, where she's supposed to have a star from her left shoulder, her right shoulder, and her forehead, although I don't think I see the stars on that one. So, she has them on that depiction, right, for the Holy Trinity. And then sprinkled throughout the church and these side mosaics. See, we're different saints. Each church has depictions of different ones. let's take, for example, this is Saint Athanasius in the bottom here, Saint Nectarios, and then Saint Constantine and Helen, which we commemorated today. And then on this side, we have Saint Nicholas. This is the third depiction. If you remember, the first one was on the stained glass window, and the second was on the Constatation. Then we have Saint Cosmas and Damien. Who's up there? Saint Paul? Philip? I think with the light, I'll be able to tell better. But yes, each church picks certain saints that they would like to honor.
Saint Peter.
Oh, Peter, Saint Peter. Oh, he's important. Yes. And then I think on the other side is Saint Anastasia for sure. Yeah. So at Saint Sophia's Cathedral, they have different saints that we have. Fine, as long as certain ones are there, like the Anastasia is there with Christ and the Virgin Mary. This is the place where our priest will come out and say the gospel, explain it, and then we have the bishop's throne. So when the bishop comes to visit, he will sit there. Behind the bishop's throne is something actually very interesting that we utilize once a year. So this is actually called, this wooden structure, it's called the colloquion. And inside we place the epitaphio, which is a depiction of Christ on a piece of cloth. So we use it on Holy Friday. This is decorated with flowers and it represents Christ's tomb. And we take it around in a procession around the church because we're in mourning that he has passed away. And then over here, this is a new wooden baptismal font where this is taken up to the middle of the church and we baptize babies when they're little. Yes. So again, everything is symbolics, right? Or symbolism. Here we see the grapevine that's been carved out because it symbolizes, again, the Eucharist. So everything has a meaning. Oh, here, yes. Saint Anastasia, Saint Stephen, and Saint Anthony, right? Saint Stephen was the first martyr. He was stoned to death. Saint Anthony started a lot of monasteries in the desert, and then Saint Anastasia is known for her healing. So she helped a lot of sick people. And across here we have Saint Stylianos. He's patron saint of children. That's why he's holding a baby. Saint Demetrius, who slayed the dragon, as we know, and then I think it's Saint Sophia up there, the one that had the 3 daughters. Yes. So.
Can I close that?
Yes.
Close that for a minute.